it's just all about the repetition. It's all about doing the work. So I find when I'm in my own head or I'm feeling weird or whatever, I just go back to doing the work, which is, okay, send those emails out, practice the songs, learn the lines. Like, that gets me out of my own head, is going into action.
Hey everyone, this is Reyna Torres, and we are Women Creating Magic, and I run my own studio, and I decided to start this podcast so amazing women can sit down comfortably with a cup of tea or a glass of wine to relax and have an open conversation about their experience as women in the entertainment industry. My next guest is Emily Coupe. She's an Australian actress, singer, and model who has worked both in Australia and Los Angeles. Please give it up for Emily Coupe.
So you were about to talk about when you were in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that was such a cool experience. Got cast in that film. I didn't even have to audition for that, which was awesome. Because one thing I've learned with acting is that a lot of it is about networking, who you know, and a few of the biggest things I've done, I haven't even had to audition for them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's just from... I was getting a lot into like producing, trying to make stuff, and then I realized that isn't something I'm actually passionate about. That was more like a means to an end, because as a filmmaker, and who knows, maybe I'll do it one day, I've just been so busy, but I'd like to do something where like it's a story that I'm really passionate about, and the story itself really needs to be told, as opposed to I'm just trying to find something to act in. So I think that's where I was doing it more that way, which isn't the right way as a filmmaker, and I'm already doing music and acting, and it's kind of too much. But yeah, it's all about, not about your agents, not about auditioning all the time, because I've barely booked anything from auditions. It's all networking, working with friends, and putting yourself out there, I'd say.
It is out there. How was it, the experience for you?
It was honestly one of the best times of my life. Oh my God. You definitely feel very spoiled as an actor on set, because the people give you like, hey, how are you? Like, do you need this? You need this? Hair, makeup,
Yep.
like, you know, here's your seat. And it almost feels out of this world. But then I realized throughout the shooting that it's not just because you're the actor and you're pampered. It's because you're kind of a product and you're in front of the screen.
Yes.
And they want to help you as much as possible to deliver a good performance.
Yeah, they want you to be like at ease.
Yeah.
They want you to be, okay, everything's smoothly, nothing going wrong, so you can get into your character without having to feel stressed out. And that's true. It's one of those things where you have to find like less stress when you're about to hit. But I think everybody that's mentioned, you're always getting those little jitters, but those are good jitters before going on. So
yeah.
I'm sure you get that too.
Yeah, I think I definitely get nervous if I'm not prepared. I think if I've done the work and I feel ready to shoot and stuff, I don't, like, those nerves go away. But it's definitely if I'm not prepared, that's when I'm nervous. Yeah, that's when I feel like, okay, how am I going to get through this kind of thing? But I've just learned to prepare, which is pretty much be off book. Because everything else, you can figure out on the day. Blocking, the chemistry, whatever. If I'm off book, then I'm good. It's the most important thing. Oh my God.
How was the transition, the transition from Australia to here? As you guys didn't notice her accent. Like people that are hearing it, but people are listening and watching it, like, you're from Australia, so.
Yeah, it was one of the pretty much the hardest thing I've ever done, to be honest with you. Because I moved when I was 21. So you know, I'm actually nearly 30 now, which is crazy.
Really? How old are you?
Yeah, I don't want to say.
Wait. Okay, no worries.
Because I want to keep it a secret. Not that it really matters, but yeah, it was really hard. Just moved out of home, and I think it was not just moving across the world, but it was, I think, moving out of home. I essentially moved out of home, and that in itself was really hard. With, you know, I didn't have my parents' support. I had to set up social security, had to get a car, like it was all the big adult things.
All those things, yeah.
Yeah, like starting from scratch.
So you saw the DMV.
Yes. Yeah, that was...
I was like, oh, gosh.
Yeah, you kind of hear rumors of, oh my God, the DMV sucks. There you go, and you're like, oh my God. But I feel like in LA, you just learn to find your, the hacks or the shortcuts to make things more efficient. Like, even with the DMV, it's like, okay, like, always make an appointment so you don't have to wait, or like, you know, do it online. So in LA, it's just about learning and adapting. I think that's how you survive here. You have to adapt.
Yeah.
Because what worked in Australia might not work here. For example, I was like, okay, I'm going to find a good high paying job here. I was doing a lot of promo work back in Australia. It's like 25 an hour, whatever. Tried that here, nowhere near as good. Like it was just a weird vibe. Wasn't fitting for me. What I found that's worked here is bartending. It's really high pay. Not really, you just look cute and make basic drinks. The hours are short. It's so amazing. So that was my kind of saving grace. But yeah, I hadn't even done my own washing when I moved here. My mum had always done my washing because I'd always lived at home. So that was the biggest thing.
Oh gosh, so the first time that you had to go wash your own clothes.
Yeah.
Was it kind of like, okay, but I know I need to do this.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing.
Where did you do it? Like, was there already like somewhere where you lived that had a facility for you to wash?
Yeah.
Okay, so that made it easier.
Yeah, I think I've always lived at places that have inbuilt
dry,
at least in the area, you know.
But that's a little different because you have to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to figure out some are quarters and then some are like the card thing. Because I think you have Anthony, you have the card thing, right? Yeah, so it's crazy.
Yeah. I think my one at home where I have now, you can pay from your phone. Like Pay Range is the app or something, and you can prepay it through, like, you know, it's like you prepay $25 and then you just slide, you know, and then it pays for it.
Oh, nice.
It says quarters because there's a coin shortage or whatever, so it's like there weren't enough quarters to
that's funny.
washing.
I mean, I have noticed for my blankets I have to actually go to a laundromat because now my washer can take it because I got a bigger one, but before I would have to go there and I'm like, okay, I know I've done this before, but it was different. It was no longer the coins. It was something else. It was like the card thing. And I was like, I gotta figure this out. Like, okay, what do I do? It's like, hey, you just put your money here and it'll pull out the thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, cool. Like Vegas. I remember, like, I'm too young to remember when Vegas was a quarter thing, like putting the quarters in the slot machine. Nowadays, it's either you stick your money in there and then the way it returns you money, it's like a whole different way. It's like a paper thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So, different ways and stuff. Yeah. But let's talk about what you're doing right now. Like, so what are you up to right now here?
Yeah, I feel like life has been very busy. I feel like I'm kind of running out of time to do my day job, which is becoming a thing. A few things. I was starting to work on a play in terms of acting in it, and then we were actually going to put it up, I think, next weekend. But we realized that there wasn't enough time to do a full rehearsal, like to really, you know, delve into it. Because there's 80 pages, and I was pretty much in every page. So that's like, you know, 10 lines per page. It was like 800 words, and I could have been off book. But the thing is, like, it wouldn't have been as good as what it would be if we did push it like 2 or 3 months, and then we could, you know, really get into it and not be stressing out. So we decided to push the play till January. And it's funny, as soon as it happened, I felt such a relief, and I finally feel like I have a social life again because I can see friends, because I was freaking out and going, fuck, I have to spend all my time memorizing lines like for the next 2-3 weeks, and I was not like having anxiety attacks, but I was like, oh my god, like this is too much. And then I was getting auditions in between and, you know, emotional stuff, and it's just I don't know if I would have been able to cope, or I would have, because I feel like I'm good at pushing through emotions and whatever, but it would have been a stretch for sure.
Gosh. So how do you, like, one of the things that I want to focus like today is just that, like we talked about, was the fact that a lot of us do stress out. All of us, we all stress out, and when there's a lot going on in our life, there is always negative thoughts, regardless if we don't want to, and even if we have like this mantra in the morning and we're just like positive stuff. It happens. So how do you go about when you go into like those little mini dark places?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I've definitely gotten a lot better at that. When I first moved here, or before I moved here, I definitely had a lot of self-doubt. Like, I didn't think I could do it. I was like, give up. Like, I was battling that every day. So it wasn't just even, you know, getting everything done. It was, the battle was in my own head, which is so counterintuitive and self-destructive. And it was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you know, that kind of thing. So I think what's helped is I've definitely done a lot of self-development work in terms of trying to get rid of any baggage in my head in terms of what that self-sabotage was. Like, there was this awesome course I did called MITT in LA, which I loved. That honestly was a game changer, because it was it's all about pretty much getting rid of all the gunk in your past that does hold you back, and it strengthens your power to move forward. But that's when I got back into music, actually, after that course. Ended a relationship that wasn't working, or just I couldn't see it going anywhere. I made a big shift. But yeah, I'd say that course really helped. But
and you had a birthday just passed right now.
Yeah,
that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I'd say definitely affirmations. I used a lot of those. I'm big into like the law of attraction. But also, for me, it's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when. And I think it's all about, you can do anything you want, like if you just set your mind to it, like anything. Like it's just all about the repetition. It's all about doing the work. So I find when I'm in my own head or I'm feeling weird or whatever, I just go back to doing the work, which is, okay, send those emails out, practice the songs, learn the lines. Like that gets me out of my own head, is going into action. And I like to stay busy, and I think I do overthink when I'm quiet. And that's why driving for me can be dangerous, because I sometimes start to get in my own head in terms of overthinking things, which isn't bad. Sometimes I like to just sit and reflect on things. And sometimes that is when the truth comes out, because you have that space to reflect.
You're reflecting, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely staying in action is important.
That's really good that you said that you actually sit down, even though we are our own critics. And when we do have peace, we do all of a sudden 100 different things pile up in our head.
Yeah.
But it is really good that you said that the truth is what comes out. And it is hard for us to sometimes, even when we say the truth to ourselves, it's hard to hear it sometimes, but we need it. So when we do sit down and we have those quiet moments, I'm sure you're like, well, you're probably like, for me, I'm like, yeah, I know, Reyna. Yeah, I know. we have to stop doing that. We have to push forward. But that's a good way to think. Like, you basically, the first thing you do is, if you're having too many things happening in your mind, you're just like, all right, gotta stick to my plan. And that's where, in the end of the day, I'm like, what did I do today? That was great. I was productive, which is great. That's a good way to go about. Because a lot of people, like for me, yesterday, it was very, Anthony, director, producer here, was telling me, how was your day? And I was like, well, I don't feel like I was productive. I didn't feel motivated, but I just didn't have, the wants to, I wanted to do something, but I didn't want to do anything. And it was just like, well, and then allergies kicked in, so I was like, oh, great, this sucks. I don't want to do anything now. But in the end of the day, I literally had to start painting. I was like, you need to do something because your mind's going crazy right now. So I just started painting. And I think that was my therapy. Sort of thinking as I'm painting, because I bought these little pumpkins for my daughter. And I was like, hey, look what I brought for us to paint. And she's like, okay, we'll paint in a bit. So I'm like, I'm going to start. So I started doing it, and I'm just thinking about all the things going through my head, what I need to take care of. Am I doing this right? Am I going to be successful? Oh my God, so many different things. And I'm just I'm just like, okay, we're flying to Buffalo. It's my first time flying. And I'm just like, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, there's a gallery coming up in October. It's mine. And I'm just like, awesome. Oh God. And as I'm painting, you can tell that at first it was kind of chaotic, which I noticed that my pumpkin looked chaotic with the colors. And I'm like, okay, I need to focus. And the more I started to focus on the pumpkin, and the more I was just like, okay, I need to maybe tone the colors down, but I still wanted to be bright. Then I started really thinking everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. As I finish it, I'm like, I like what I end up doing it. And I realized that out of the whole day, I really needed to just go through this battle of my head, and I focus on just painting on something, which is crazy. I was just like, that's my very first time I've ever done that. Usually when I'm really pissed off or I'm really angry, I paint. Okay. I just draw and I get my stuff, and I'm like, I close the door, put my candles on. I'm just put my music. I'm like, Lizzo. And then I'm just like, okay, paint. And I'm like, ooh, this is amazing. Because there's some great stuff that I've done, but I've noticed I've done it when I'm super frustrated. Because when I'm super mellow and I start painting, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? You got it. What's going on?
Yeah.
But but getting back to it, it's just one of those things that I want women to know that in the end of the day, it's good to just like, even if days where you feel like not motivated or that you're not doing anything, like try to pick up and do something, and you'll see how your mind will play. And hopefully, like in the end, you know, you get to resolve some of the stuff that you were thinking about. Like in your case, I'm sure that everything feels sometimes overwhelmed.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. How do you go about with like sitting in your room and just sort of like, okay, let's see what I can do to nourish myself? What do you end up doing?
That's a good question. I don't think I do enough to nourish myself, maybe, but I do love the high or the endorphin kick of getting things off my to-do list. Or the nourishment for me comes from seeing the results or seeing this thing that I've done. Or this might sound really gay, but even if I like look at my like IMDb and I'm like, oh, they added these credits, and I'm like, hell yeah, like I'm building it up. Like just even like going on Instagram, like these little endorphin things are nice. Just I don't know, just messages from friends, like career stuff like that, little things.
And that's okay. It's normal. Like that's like a good thing for you to feel great, because you're an artist. Your artistry, like what you do is for you to show everybody else, and the love that you get in return is what you love to see, basically.
Yeah. The validation. The external validation.
Yeah.
Which isn't always good. I think my happy place though is I love like listening to music. So at home I'm always like, Alexa, play Harry Styles or play something. Like I just love having the music on, and I do genuinely love working. So if I'm, you know, working on something and getting that done and feeling productive and there's music on and in my room and comfy clothes, like that makes me feel, that's like my happy place kind of.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. That's good to hear, because I want to say other women need to find their comfy place. We have to find our comfy place. If we don't have it, then we kind of will go crazy.
Yeah, it's very true.
And we'll go like insane. Like, yeah. Like I think my comfy place would be probably pajamas on a cold, rainy day in my room, probably watching something.
Yeah.
With like hot cocoa, like, and not have to worry about knowing that everybody is okay. And I can just lay there and just be like, okay, like, let me do this. Yeah.
Totally. You know, I think, it's not so weird, I think my comfy place is watching a movie with, like, a loved one, or, like, I love cuddling, so if I'm cuddling with somebody and, like, watching a film or something, that's, like, one of my favorite things, actually.
Aww.
Yeah, just, like, that affection, whatever. Or, I don't know, just little things like that. I think if you take those moments to do that with somebody or be with somebody and you're so busy, then it means so much more, because it's like a break from your normal life.
No, it's true. I think me and Anthony, we do that a lot. So whenever he's having a crazy day, like he literally comes to my house and we just like watch a movie. We don't think about anything else, and we just like do. Same thing for me. If I go to his house, I'm just like relaxing, chilling. He's cooking and I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about anything. And it's just those moments where you just get away from everything else, which is amazing. Which is true. You do need cuddle time. You definitely need cuddle time. I love that. You're like, cuddle time. But yeah, no, it's true. It's about that. What do you feel when you perform after? I love the answer from every artist when they're performing, and it's like, what do you get? I know it's a high.
Yeah.
So what kind of emotions and feelings are you having?
I think it's different for both acting and music. I think for music, if you're really into it, like it's very vulnerable. Like you feel really exposed when you get off the stage. So like, I kind of sometimes just want to hide. Like I want to I just need like a second to decompress kind of. Because when I'm saying it the Friday night thing, I remember coming off and your heart's beating and the adrenaline's kicking in, and I don't know, like you kind of just want to like decompress for a second, and everyone's coming up. Because
everyone's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Oh my God, I love it. Like, for me, I was just like, you totally remind me of so-and-so. I loved it. You did. You totally did. It was like, I was just like, wow. I totally enjoyed your voice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like you're putting your heart and soul into it. And, I mean, you never get to just sit down and relax, but I don't know, like, it's hard to explain, but you definitely want to hide, but you're also really happy, I think, like a mix. And then with acting, I think it's similar. I think I think in the beginning, it's all about just getting the scene down and being nervous. But if you know the scene and you've run it a bunch of times and it's just about listening to the character, you want to, like the other character, you want to feel like you've been moved, or you want to feel really connected, and just, I guess, you want to feel what that character would feel in that scene. Or you just have to be open to feel what they're going to feel.
Yeah. Because, it's different. If you kind of think about it, when you're acting, you're trying to portray that character, so you get into that character. But when you're performing, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you kind of want to do, like, the Beyonce thing, where it's, who was that? Her
Sasha Fierce or something?
Yeah, Sasha Fierce, yeah. But I'm like, not all singers do that. No. But, yeah, it's very different. That's you. I think that's why you're just, like, that's me out there singing, but when I'm acting like this whole entire person. So when I finish, I come back being me, and everybody who saw saw a different character. So in your mindset, already subconsciously, you're just like, all right, cool, I'm good. Like, I don't need to hide anywhere.
Yeah.
So, compared to, like, performing in front of people, you're just like, okay, I need a moment. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think music's more physical too, especially if you're playing guitar. Like, it's a very physical thing, then you actually feel physically exhausted, I think. Whereas with acting, I think it's more of an internal performance. Like, it's more about, like, when I act, I really try to act with my mind, does that make sense? Like, to act with my thoughts. So, like, trying to really be, what am I thinking? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whereas music, sometimes I zone out. Sometimes I'm thinking about my lunch, but I'm like, doo-doo-doo. Whereas acting, you have to be 100% present.
Yes.
So it's different, yeah.
You have to be aware of everything. It's not just mine, but you have to be, but the same thing for singing. Like, but for acting, yeah, you have to be careful where you're adjusting your body, because, you know, the director would be like, can we stop doing that? Or if you're fidgeting or stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but... Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's physical, right? Anthony playing the guitar. Because he does that. He's
nice.
in a band. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I've been doing these 3-hour cover gigs.
I've been seeing that. How's that so far?
It's good. It's a newer thing, but I definitely feel like I'm getting my chops up. I've been, like, weaning off the bartending, doing more of that. I like it. It's a bit of a drive. Sometimes it's less money than what I would make bartending, but it's like, that's what I want to do more of, and in the next couple of years I'd love to wean off that and just do acting and music. That's like my goal. And like we were kind of talking about on the phone before meeting today, like, you've taken that leap to just do this, and I'm like in my head, but by the time I'm 30, which soon, I would like to just be doing that full time. Like,
yeah, that's one of the things, the questions that I ask everybody, when was it the moment that you felt like this was it? Like, this was, like, the, like, and by the way, like, everybody knows, like, whenever in this industry, you know, it's hard, because it's taking a sacrifice. We all know that. So when was it when you made that decision, you said, this is what I really want to be doing?
I think it's a few things adding up, you know, but then you have an aha moment, like just my friends, seeing my other friends doing the same thing with, like, because I see music cover gigs as kind of like a day job. It's like instead of a bartending shift, so that's a tangible thing you can control. You can email, you can line up a bunch of gigs, especially as a solo artist. I do it myself, so I don't have to pay anybody usually. And then I'd say I played this gig at a place called Peddler's Fork about a month or two ago, maybe 2 months ago. And the response I got was so good. Like, everyone was like, oh, you're amazing. I think Cameron came, who was at that Friday gig. So I think I played 3 shows in a row. It was that gig, then it was the next gig, and another gig. And I think just doing that, I'm like, fuck, I love doing this. And people are enjoying what I'm doing. Like, it's not even something that I think, you know, I think I want to do it because I want to do it. I think people are like, you should be doing more of this, like, are leaning into doing it. And so it was at that gig where I'm like, I made like $400 or $500 or something. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I made more than what I would have done bartending, but it's what I really want to do. And it was that. So I've been thinking about it, and I'd always had this fear voice in my head going, you can't do it. but I've been thinking about it for years. But I was like, can I do this? Can I do this? And then even talking to you on the phone when you were like, you took the leap, like little things like that, and that made me go, maybe I need to do that. Like, just you inspired me. So a little bit, you know, just with that in that little conversation, and then added on to other things. I've got other friends who are doing it full time, and I just went, you know, by the time I'm 30, like I want to be doing it full time. Like I want to be setting myself up on the path that I really want to do. And bartending and serving is a great means to an end, but that's not my long-term path. Yeah. Even if I'm making less doing what I really want to do, I'd rather be doing that and just cutting back on my bills, and at least I'm on the right direction.
Yes.
So like redirecting and getting off the safety zone, although most of being in LA had been just trying to survive, just trying to pay the bills. And so that's why it's hard to leave a safe job, a situation that is working. Like my situation is working right now, it's comfortable, but I'm not pushing myself. And it's a whole thing of I've heard the saying where there's a frog in a pot and the water's cold and you slowly simmer the water, like it slowly gets hotter until it cooks to death. But because the water was so slow to get hotter, I didn't realize that it was dying. So that's comfortability, and like you can get trapped in a comfortable life. Like I feel comfortable and it's happened gradually, but you can die in that. Like you could get stuck in that. So I don't know, just to get rid of that fear voice, which I think stops us. But also tangibly, I do have savings to fall back upon. So I've got that. But yeah, just going for it.
It is. It's hard. Like for me, I quit my professional job that I've been doing for almost 10 years. And I quit last month to pursue this.
To do the podcast?
To do podcasts, my photography, galleries, this whole entire thing. And it's years. Like I was contemplating for a long time already, for like over a year, whether to leave it, stay with it part-time. It just doesn't work. Like if I really want to go all balls in, I have to literally let go of my full-time job and do this completely, and network and get people out there and do this podcast and do more photography and just stick to my photography and the business with Anthony, because we can still get money out of it. I mean, we do headshots and all that stuff. It's paid. But yeah, I couldn't do my professional job, because I used to do like optical, like glasses and stuff. So I really just, like in your case, I'm like the pot, like I was just simmering, I was comfortable, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to like take a leap, so I'm gonna have to do it. And I couldn't do this podcast if I did not do it myself. So it's not easy. And I had told myself that before anything. I'm like, look, and I remember this day I was driving and I ended up saying, it's not going to be easy right now, and there's going to be days where it's going to be a pain in the ass, you're going to cry, it's going to hurt, you're going to try to figure out how to do this, you're going to want to quit, you're going to want to look for a 9 to 5 job, and this is the time where you're going to have to prepare yourself and tell you did this, push it through. So that's my leap. That was my kind of like, you know, I want to stick doing this. And so far, I've been having really beautiful women, I'm getting emotional, because it's like, I didn't expect a lot of women wanting to do this, but the more I talk about it, the more it's out there, they're wanting to come in and talk and sit down and talk about these stuff. So I'm just like, yes, I'm so happy. And I always tell Anthony, like, I keep saying it, like, what is it? Am I like a great conversational? Like, am I like, do they like who I am? He's like, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm not a bitch.
No, well, I feel like you're so sincere and genuine and authentic, and you're doing this for all the right reasons, and it's such a high quality, like, warm feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but it's for like a higher purpose, and it's quality, and I think people can see that. Like,
yeah, that's what it is. Thank you so much. That's what it is. I just want women to know that we're here, you know, and we're going through these things, you know, like in the end of the day, like you're going through the same emotions I'm going through, maybe different thought process, but we're still feeling those anger and frustration and happy and highs and lows. And I want people to know that it's normal and it's okay, that we shouldn't, like, not hide from it. We should express it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, right now, there's that movement going on the other side of the world. Don't want to get in too much, but it's sort of like, you know, that movement to burn your bra and stuff like that.
I've been kind of staying away from the news.
There's this, it's just, not getting into it because I don't want that to be in there, but let's just say there's movements of women out there in the other side of the world that you would never have thought that they would do this. Like, people who kind of wear their hijab and stuff. They're literally taking it off and burning it.
Hijabs?
Yeah, and it's because of one person who got, you know, hurt and killed because she wasn't wearing it properly. So
insane.
It's crazy. So it's right now is the perfect time. It's the perfect time for women to talk. Mm-hmm. There's more and more conversations. There's more women out there really speaking out loud of how they feel. And we need this to be a norm thing. Because, like, you and I, like, if we were to continue, I said we never did this podcast. And we would talk. And we would have conversations. Would we really have a conversation about how you feel and you have bad days and stuff? No, we would not. We would have a conversation like, what are you up to? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, let's do this next time. We don't. That's why I have this platform. It's for that reason. It's for other women to see your story and get inspired and know that they're not alone. And that taking that leap is not easy. Mm-hmm. But like how Mr. Anthony says it, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Like, it's not. It's not easy. But it's a beautiful thing to do, especially when people hear, like, the outcome. Because everybody I spoke to have been saying almost, you know, similar things, but in their point of view. So I'm pretty happy that you're here and everything, talking about it. Yeah. Oh, good. And then plus I love your accent, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just for the accent, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the accents. It's that.
I knew it.
Yeah. Knew it. Yeah, it's nothing to do with, like, anything that you're doing.
Oh my god.
No. So let's talk about what's coming up.
What's coming up?
Anything at the end of the year?
Yeah, it's funny. It is the end of the year, isn't it?
I know the year. I know it's gonna be October soon.
It's crazy.
3 more months. That'll be 3 months, and then 2023.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll talk about that in a sec. It's funny because I ended up I was living with a guy. We've been dating for 3 years, and we broke up around this time. It was more like December, so it was coming up. So it's almost coming up to a year of being out of this relationship, and we're still, like, best friends. But I see it as a milestone, and I just, like, sensorially, whatever the word is, I remember, like, it all happened around winter, around Christmas, with, like, sweaters and stuff, and it's almost like coming back into that. It's like, I don't know, it just has a different feeling this time of the year. But so in terms of what's coming up, this whole year I haven't really released that much music because I've been recording a lot of music. I've got like 15 to 20 tracks which are currently in production, which is really cool. So I was just listening to one of the newest mixes on the way here. So hoping to release at least 1 or 2 songs before the end of the year, and then I'll have a bunch lined up next year.
Nice.
With content and stuff. So that's music. I've been doing more cover gigs, less actually showcase gigs. I just wasn't really getting excited, but I am playing coming up this Tuesday at I play there twice a month. It's called Republic of Pie, North Hollywood, with a cello player. So I'm excited to be playing guitar with him with cello, like what I was doing with cello, and just to develop a little band maybe around that with a cajon or something, because that creatively excites me. Like, it's more organic, more intimate, and I think that it resonates more with what I like to do with performing wise. It's less rocking out on stage like a rock star, like, that's not really my vibe. My vibe's more like wanting to talk to the audience and be intimate and whenever I was on stage with a full band, I just felt so exposed and like a fraud. Like I'm trying to be this thing, but I don't think that's really who I am. So just taking that time. So with the music, and then acting wise, just this has been a very indie project kind of year. I've done a lot of small indie projects. Kind of in the middle of one right now, like my friend's little thing.
Anything's gonna be like any festivals, like any film festivals?
Not that I'm aware of. It's funny, I feel like this past 12 to 18 months I've shot like at least 10 things. Like whether it's just, 2 or 3 days on a feature film project, or whether it's a full month, or on like, there's a couple feature films I was part of. Because I mean, just this past year, recently I did this like small part of my friend's film called The Wicked Wi-Fi Workout, where in the first scene I get killed pretty much. I like play this girl as that. I was in my friend's Christian film that just came out, just shot, called Insight. I'm shooting a horror film with my friend Albert. It's called like The Package. I've shot 4 commercials this year, which has been great. That's like all I can think of right now. I'm sure I've done other things.
I'm like, that's a lot, people.
Well, it's little things, and I just love saying yes to everything. Then this play got pushed to January, but that I'm really excited about that. Everybody's super talented. I'm not getting paid for that, but I'm taking time off work. But it's just like, I love acting, I love theatre, and just if we put it on right and we spend the time really putting everything into it and rehearsing it, and it's going to be really great.
Yeah.
And I enjoy theatre more than film. Like, that's real acting, in my opinion. It's like, one take, you're really in it, do or die.
Yeah.
The audience, I don't know, just to get back to those roots and be like, fuck, I'm a real actor. Like, in LA, it's just film, TV, anyone can say lines, but that's like the real craft of acting, of connecting and learning your lines and blocking and staging and just, voice stuff, projecting. I don't know. So I'm really excited about that.
It is like one take. You're right. It is one take. It's a...
Yeah.
You get it or you don't get it.
Yeah. That's why this play wasn't going to be ready in time, because the whole play is like 80 pages. We were going to have 3 rehearsals in person before the play. I'm like, this is going to be the crappiest thing in the world. Like, we're all going to screw up like at least 10 times because we haven't got it into our muscle memory yet.
And you have to. You have to rehearse. Yeah, you have to rehearse.
Yeah, I don't think because the writer, he hasn't put on a full length play before, so I think there was just a lack of experience there, and for me too, like I haven't done a full length play as a lead. And I did a support thing back in Australia like 7 years ago, so I didn't have the experience either. So when it got down to the last couple of weeks, I was like, I'm not going to be ready. Like, I don't feel ready. And also as an actor, you want to feel supported. And I don't think not that we weren't supported, but just like I just don't think for more support we needed more rehearsals, pretty much in person. So I think it was just a lack of planning. I think everybody was so busy. Like the director, who's a camera woman, she was like, this is my busiest time of the year. Like, I'm on set a lot, I'm exhausted, this is when I make my money for the year right now. So I just don't think it was good timing, but it's just been postponed, and we're still doing rehearsals every week and stuff. So yeah, I'd say those are the biggest things. I've been doing some modeling things here and there, just continuing to try to do good work, and it's funny, like I think all of us are kind of waiting for that break to take you to that next level, whether even financially, where you can just do it full time. And for example, if I booked a film for a month, or even, I don't know, maybe I could quit the day job, come back and not have to worry about it. So it's like you're always waiting for those game changes, but at the same time, you just have to be okay with just working and maybe just, the lower to middle level, and just being active, because that break might never come. And it's funny, like when I was 16 back in Australia, I shot the one and only thing on TV that I've done, and I was like, it was like the first five auditions I'd ever had. I was like, oh my god, this is so easy. Like, whoever says acting's hard, there's something wrong with them. Then cut to like, over 10 years later, and I haven't booked anything on TV since. I'm like, if I had known that I wasn't going to book anything for at least 10 years on TV, would I have kept going? I don't know if I would have I think I would, because I love the craft in itself, but it would have been very dejecting. Like, and even now, someone's like, you're not going to book anything for another 10 years on TV. Will I keep going? I mean, I don't know, like, am I deluded? I don't know, but I think with this craft and career, you can build a life around pursuing it.
You can.
So that's why I like doing music and acting, because if I can find even more stability in music, which is these cover gigs, then that can provide stability and room to do everything else. For example, like, you know, book commercials, book some modeling stuff, have the music cover gigs, funds of music, production, you know, hopefully get some sync stuff, bigger acting things, and it just keeps building upon itself. Because, yeah, I feel like you don't want to do things for money, but at the end of the day, you do have to pay the bills and be financially responsible.
Yeah.
And save for retirement and, you know.
But it sounds to me like you just, before you get to 30, it sounds to me like you just want to have something like a foundation, like a stable foundation. And it's working. And you don't have to, like, go back to, like, bartending. It's just gigs, acting, this and that.
Yes, that would be ideal. And I can see it in my head as a tangible thing already. Like, for example...
and that's what you want to continue. It's like, have your board, write it down, keep thinking about that.
Totally. I think part of it's just figuring out what that looks like. Because as a creative, I know a lot of my friends are very ADHD in the sense of, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And it's hard. I find my biggest thing is I have to focus myself, and I love to write things down, and I've got my goals and I have to kind of say no in my head to doing a lot of things, like, don't pursue voiceover, don't do this. But I can see it in terms of how it's already progressing, like pretty much being freelance. But yeah, if I could have a almost steady foundation of 2 to 3 to 4 music cover gigs a week that pay $15,000 to $2,000 or more, because there's at this level it's kind of lower, but then as you get better and more experience, whatever, your rate can really go up, and you could book, you know, 2 gigs, make $800 each per gig, and
you definitely can, because now it's starting to pick up.
Yeah,
everything's picking up. People want to go out and see people, you know. There's a new thing happening right now. People want to see new upcoming artists. Yeah. Like, they're kind of just, like, done with, like, with the ones that are successful out there, but there's everybody that I spoke to, like, they're always listening to new artists, listening to new things. And it's because of this whole pandemic thing, you know? We want to see this whole, like, new people coming up with, like, the music. So that's fun. You're definitely going to get there. Like, I totally see that happening to you. Like, as long as you keep, you know, positive and you're going there, and even if you're having these moments of, like, fuck, am I really going to get there? You're going to get there. It's going to happen. Like, literally a year from now, I'm going to be like, what's up? You'll be like, you're not going to believe it.
A year's a long time. And I don't know about you, but, like, I'm pretty spiritual.
Oh, yeah, same.
Spiritual. And I don't know, I'm a big believer of, like, I try to be very intuitive in terms of how I feel about people and things and situations, and sometimes it gets me in trouble because I think sometimes maybe I'm too intuitive and I tend to blabber a lot in terms of the truth, and that gets me in trouble. So, like, which is a blessing and a curse. But I don't know, like, I think I've just decided that even though the truth might hurt, I want to live, like, authentically and vulnerably. And even if things fall apart in that, for example, I have feelings for this person, but I'm with you. Like, I think you need to kind of explore. You need to be honest with yourself and not hide things, because then otherwise you're living a lie in your life. I don't know, like, your foundation is not solid.
No.
So I don't know, even though that's really hard, I'm just really trying to make that commitment to myself, like, be authentic with myself, which I think I haven't been. Just I've been hiding.
Tell you, I agree. I'm like 3 years from being 40, so I agree. Like, that's how I basically live my life. I'm just gonna be honest, straightforward. There's no way I'm gonna sugarcoat things, because why? I'm gonna make my life a lot more miserable, you know, because I like to please everybody. But at the end of the day, my rule is, if I'm not functioning right, then everybody's going to break.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it is with you. You're like, if I'm not functioning, or I'm not going to buy with like how I feel, or how my life is going, or if I'm compressing something, everybody around me is gonna be breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
You're your number one healer, so you need to heal yourself, and you need to be honest with everything. And if you don't accept it, well, the door's there. You can get out of my life. I don't need this. And that's what I've learned in life. It's just that. Like, if it's not going to work for you, it's okay to tell people, like, hey, I disagree. And if they're like, whatever, I don't want to talk to you, then, all right, cool, leave.
But then it's like, that's when you find your most authentic friends. Because if you're living authentically, then the people that aren't authentic with your vibe, being authentic will disappear, which is good. You're kind of getting rid of
You do.
not the gunk, but the things that aren't fitting with you.
It's not going to fit. Yeah, that's why I always tell people I only have a handful of good friends, because they're and I keep saying it, they're relationships. Your friendships with people are relationships, the good and the bad. And one thing I do hear that I agree with is your friend needs to be happy for the things that you're doing, as vice versa. So if they're like genuinely like really happy for the good news, like if you call your friend and you tell them good news and they're like, hell yeah, then that's amazing, because that's what you want to hear. Now, you don't want to hear like, oh, that's amazing, that's great, like, yeah,
I'd be like okay.
Like, I just called you to give you an amazing thing, like when you call me, like I do the same thing too. So that's how you kind of know, you figure out like who's who. So it sucks, but that's how life is, especially when you're an artist. There's everybody's throwing at you. Everyone's going at you. Hey, what's up? What's going on? I'm your friend. Ha ha ha. But not really. Like, it's just a lot of like, they just want to be part of in your life. And that's why when you're exposed in that way, you have to make sure you take care of yourself, like spiritually, like your soul, your spirit. You have to make sure your energy, you have to make sure you take care of that. Because there's energies out there being thrown at you. You know that. Like, it's sometime good and sometime bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, at least in this day and age, if you're in your apartment, no one can get to you. Like, you're safe. People message you. You can take a couple of days to reply if you're overwhelmed. If, no one's going to kill you for that.
No.
Or if someone's toxic, I hate you, just block them. Like, at least there is a tangible physical way of protecting your energy. But definitely, I've done this thing where it's like, I did this psychic course over the pandemic, and one thing she did was she goes like, ground, clear, protect, and I do that every morning if I remember, like ground myself, clear my energy, and then protect myself with like a bubble, because people can throw stuff at you, but it's if someone's mean to you, I've realized it's actually on them because they're unhappy, and just because like someone's a bitch to you doesn't mean that like it's not a reflection of you, it's them.
No, it's a mirror. It's they're mirroring themselves to you. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So like, let's say I'm like, oh, you're horrible. You dress horrible. Like, I don't like the way you look. I'm basically mirroring me.
Yeah.
I'm basically like criticizing you because I'm actually criticizing like how I am. Mm-hmm. That's what it is majority of the time. I do the same thing too. The first thing I do is just like, I kind of just breathe in and I'm like, it's gonna be a great day, and I just bubble. Same thing, because I'm very, very sensitive with, like, energies and stuff. So if, like, the one thing I tell people, like, if I meet people, I'm always very neutral, and I get to feel who you are. And then once I get to feel who you are, then I'm like, okay, let me give you a little bit of me. And then that's how it hits, basically. Right. But you have to do that, like, because, if I just throw myself at you and just be like, oh, hey, because I'm a wild thing. Anthony knows this. I'm wild. So I'm just like, I'm gonna be neutral and just be like, hey, what's up? It's just one of those things. Everybody has their own niche to do. So I like yours. It's great, like, for people to know, like, all right, like, just breathe in, have a bubble, protect yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't go. I think sometimes, like, I used to maybe go through the world guarded. These days, like, I go through the world very open and vulnerable, so, like, I'd rather be that way. So if someone says something insulting, it can hurt. Like, I'm vulnerable, but it's on them, which not a lot of people reflect. Not a lot of people know that. Like,
That's good that you're saying that, and I want other women to see that when someone is like verbally attacking you in a negative space, you remember it's not you, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you know that truth, you should be okay. It hurts, but then same time, as long as you keep telling yourself that truth, like it has nothing to do with you, it's actually them, you can move forward. You don't have to reflect on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good that you do that, because in the end, you think about it, you're just like, yeah, it's not me, it's them, that's their problem, like,
Yeah, I think I definitely used to think the other way around. It's funny, I did this other course called Landmark. I'm sure you've heard of Landmark, but I did this like the first level, and level. But one thing they taught, which I use and what I think applies to that situation, is this. This teacher was like, everything's meaningless. Like nothing has any meaning, but we add meaning to everything. So like, for example, I hit this mic. It's like the fact is like I hit the mic, but the story around it is I hit the mic because I'm annoyed. I hit the mic because I'm tired. Like, but you don't have to, I didn't have to add a story to what happened. It's just it happened. Like I was late. I could be like, fuck, I suck. Like I'm just a loser. I'm just late. Like I try not to create a story in my head about things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. So any breakups or any people like that, if they said that, even if someone's like, you're a bitch, it's like, okay. Like, I'm not adding meaning to what you're saying. Like, it's kind of the emotion, the drama is taken out of it. So that's been a helpful tool as well.
Yes, that's really good. Not because I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people that don't go about thinking that way. They actually, I hate to say it, they like that, accept it, and like their day is ruined, and they're just thinking about, that, whatever that was. So people know, like, hey, don't take it to heart, basically. Be stronger. Yeah. It's a practice. It's not easy. It's not like you did this overnight and you're just like, aha!
No, it's been years of torment and going, I need help. I need help because it hurts too much.
It's a practice. Yeah, it's a practice. It's not easy. So
it's not.
It's not. Where can everyone find you?
Well, my address is no, but yeah. So my website is just my name. I guess I'm on Spotify, Instagram. I'm pretty active on. I don't really use Facebook that much these days.
No, nobody does. It's for like our parents and grandparents to
Yeah.
say hi. How are ya?
It is.
That's it.
It's funny. I guess like the metaverse, like now it's just kind of crazy. I guess it encompasses both, right? Because they are in both. But
nobody really uses it anymore. Like literally, my mom and her sisters use it for like FaceTime and stuff like that. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. My parents. I don't know. Same. I don't even care anymore. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram. I want to be better at TikTok. I know. Website. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But my website has pretty much the links to everything.
Yes, I saw that.
Which I try to keep at one spot.
It was awesome.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved the bio. I love everything it said.
Good.
It was beautiful. Yeah. You did it yourself?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So. I loved it.
Oh,
everything it's very organized and categorized. So
like my mind.
When you guys check it out, you'll see it. It's great. I love it because I've seen different bios, and yours is like, oh, I really like yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming down, and I hope this is inspiring any other women out there, and we get to see the bigger thing, because hopefully we get to do like a round table with the rest of the team of the women for the first season. Not technically like a round table. I kind of want to do like a round living room.
Yeah.
And not here, but somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we all just talk about like what we've been up to. So yeah,
That's
everything's all great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.